Imagine a beach in southwest Australia. There's no blood on the sand, no debris floating in the water, no camera recording a battle. Only a small tracking device appears, pushed by the waves, as if the ocean had returned evidence, but kept the body. For months earlier, that tag had been attached to a female great white shark. She was almost 3 meters long, weighed over 200 kilos, and was healthy. Researchers had tagged her in 2003 to track her movements. Depth, temperature, light, and route. It was calm science, not a horror story. But the label came back. The shark didn't. And that's where the central question arises. What can devour a great white shark whole? It wasn't a weak fish or a lost pup. It was a hunter built to dominate. When we think of a great white shark, we imagine teeth, speed, and ambushes from below. But in this story, the fear is reversed. The hunter becomes the prey. The truth is more unsettling than any sea legend. The tag recorded depth, temperature, and movement, and that data described a scene no one witnessed. First, the device plunged suddenly to almost 580 meters. It wasn't a normal dive. It was a sudden plunge, as if something more powerful had seized the shark and dragged it into a dark, cold, and crushing zone. Then came the strangest piece of information. The temperature rose. At that depth, the water should have been cold. But the tag registered constant heat, close to 26 degrees Celsius. That meant the device was no longer in the open ocean. It was inside something living. If the tag had come loose, it would have registered cold water. If the shark had died and sunk, it would have registered cold water too. But it registered heat as it descended to an extreme depth. That combination points to a strong explanation. Something ate the shark and took the tag with it inside its body. The mystery begins with two pieces of information that shouldn't be together: depth of abyss, stomach temperature. Now we must experience what was truly lost. A great white shark is not just a big fish. Its teeth are constantly being replaced. Its body accelerates violently. Its senses detect pressure, movement, blood, and the slightest electrical signals. For many prey, when that shadow appears from below, the die is cast. That's why the case is so unsettling. We're not asking what killed just any fish. We're asking what hunted down one of the most famous symbols of oceanic fear. For years, the great white shark was treated as the pinnacle of the ocean. But the ocean doesn't operate like a pyramid drawn in a book. Down there, the hierarchy shifts with size, age, hunger, and opportunity. The great white shark dominates many areas, but it is not untouchable. Orcas can attack it. Other sharks can bite it. Larger individuals can overpower smaller ones. The word alpha sounds like a crown, but in nature, no crown is permanent. A great white shark of almost 3 meters may seem enormous to us, but for a giant female of its own species, it could be a possible prey. Being above many species doesn't mean being above all. A great white shark can be an apex predator and still be in danger from another, much larger great white shark. The twist is simple and human. We often confuse famous with invincible. With the shark missing and the tag describing an impossible scene, investigators opened a list of suspects. Was it an orca, a sperm whale, a giant squid, a tiger shark, or a creature we don't yet understand? Each candidate seemed terrifying for a different reason. The orca had intelligence. The sperm whale had depth. The squid lived in our imagination. Other large sharks had opportunistic instincts. The predator had to be large enough to swallow a nearly 3-meter shark, be able to descend to about 580 meters, and have a warm interior to explain the recorded temperature. Many animals meet one condition. Some meet two. Almost none meet all three. Think of it like 3 locks: size, depth, and temperature. If a suspect fails one, they're out. The investigation isn't looking for the most famous animal, but the only one that fits the criteria. If you're drawn to the real mysteries of the ocean, those where science seems stranger than legend, subscribe now. This story is only just beginning its descent into the darkest part. Now comes the detective work. The ocean did indeed have animals capable of killing a great white shark. The problem is that, when compared in terms of depth, temperature, and size, each suspect began to fall short. Before you hear the answer, comment who you think it was: orca, sperm whale, giant squid, or another shark. If this mystery has already captivated you, leave a like. The first suspect had to be the orca. Intelligent, strong, social, and strategic. An orca doesn't rely solely on brute force. It learns, coordinates, and attacks with precision. Furthermore, we know it can kill great white sharks. In some cases, orcas attack to consume fatty organs, such as the liver, leaving behind a scene that looks almost surgically altered. For the viewer, the orca should feel like the obvious answer. If there's an animal capable of looking a great white shark in the eye without fear, it's the orca. But a good investigative story doesn't settle for the obvious. The orca matched the strength and killing ability, but didn't fit the pattern recorded by the tag. The device descended to nearly 580 meters. Orcas typically hunt and travel much closer to the surface. Although they can dive, their behavior doesn't align well with dragging an entire great white shark to that depth and keeping the tag in the warm environment recorded. There was also an important detail. Many orcas don't need to swallow a whole shark. They often hunt for specific parts. In Alpha's case, the tag appeared to have ended up inside the predator. That suggests ingestion, not just an attack. Simply put, the orca was a possible killer, but not the best explanation. Could defeat a great white shark, yes. But depth, sustained temperature, and complete ingestion weakened its suspicion. Then the sperm whale appears. If mystery demands depth, this animal seems perfect. It can descend to areas where light disappears, pursue prey in the dark, and move with enormous mass. Compared to a sperm whale, a 3-meter shark no longer seems invincible. It is appropriate to paint a powerful image here. A warm-blooded giant in black waters, swallowing something that no human expected could be swallowed. The sperm whale solved part of the case, but raised other questions. Its internal temperature is typically warmer than the reading recorded by the tag. Furthermore, its diet and behavior are much more closely associated with deep-sea prey, such as squid, than with a healthy great white shark near the surface. It's not that it's impossible to imagine. It's that the data doesn't support it. The sperm whale had size and depth, but not convincing temperature or feeding pattern. Simply put, the culprit didn't just have to be large. It had to fit all the evidence. The sperm whale might have descended, but the heat and the behavior didn't quite add up. When the main suspects start to fall, the human mind searches for monsters. What if it was a colossal squid? What if it was an unknown creature? What if a giant tiger shark swallowed Alpha? These ideas work because the deep ocean always sparks the imagination. A huge squid circling a shark in the darkness is an image impossible to ignore. A tiger shark swallowing almost anything also seems plausible at first. But the squid doesn't explain the constant internal heat. It's a cold-bodied animal, not a warm chamber capable of maintaining that temperature. And other large sharks, while aggressive, don't quite fit the size requirement for swallowing a nearly 3-meter-long great white shark whole. Here the mystery begins to change. The answer might not have been a new creature. Perhaps it was a known animal, but much larger than anyone expected to find at that time. The label required 3 things: size, depth, and heat. And in the end, one suspect was starting to meet them better than everyone else. The most unsettling explanation isn't always the most fantastical. Sometimes what's terrifying isn't discovering an unknown species, but accepting that a famous species might be larger, more dominant, and more cannibalistic than we imagined. Close this section with a bridging sentence. When all the suspects failed, the data pointed to the last animal many wanted to avoid, another great white shark. And now comes the most disturbing twist. Perhaps Alpha wasn't devoured by something unknown. Perhaps she was devoured by a much larger version of herself. If this answer surprises you more than a sea monster, comment another shark and leave a like. Because reality, in this case, is darker than fantasy. Throughout the investigation, the great white shark appeared to be only the victim. That's why it's difficult to imagine it as the culprit as well. The human mind separates roles. One species is the hunter, the other the prey. But the ocean doesn't draw such clear lines. The possibility began to take shape when researchers stopped asking, what strange creature could have done this, and started asking something colder. What known animal fits all the data? A much larger great white shark could have that size, could dive to that depth, and, above all, it could explain the temperature. Most sharks rely heavily on water temperature, but the great white shark conserves heat in key parts of its body. Its muscles generate energy, and its circulation helps retain some of that heat. This allows it to move powerfully even in cold water. In a normal specimen, that heat already makes a difference. In a giant female, with more muscle mass and a greater capacity to retain heat, the interior can remain much warmer. Then the reading close to 26 degrees Celsius no longer seems like a mistake. The strange fact is starting to look like a signature. Simply put, the label was inside a live animal. That animal couldn't be too cold or too hot. A huge great white shark was a better fit than the others because it could have a warm interior and also dive to great depths. The answer wasn't a monster. It was a bigger great white shark. Here, we need to make the viewer see the scale. Alpha was almost 3 meters tall. For a person, that's already immense. But to dominate it as prey, the predator had to be much bigger. Not just a little bigger, much bigger. Imagine a shadow rising from below, a swift strike, a bite that leaves no time to defend. Then the descent. 580 meters into darkness, with the tag registering heat from inside the predator. No one saw it. No one heard it. The surface remained calm. The most plausible explanation points to an exceptionally large female great white shark, perhaps close to 5 meters or more. Females grow larger than males, and the oldest and largest specimens are rare. They live, travel, and hunt in areas where cameras and research vessels are almost never present. That makes the case more believable and more unsettling. There's no need to invoke a prehistoric animal. Just imagine a huge, adult, experienced great white shark moving in open water. To us, Alpha was an awe-inspiring predator. To that animal, he was a potential meal. Simply put, a small great white shark dominates many prey. A giant great white shark can dominate the small great white shark. The food chain doesn't end with the species name. It ends with the strongest individual at that moment. Nature doesn't hand out permanent crowns. It all depends on size, opportunity, and survival. If great white sharks can eat each other, why do we almost never see it? Because it happens where we aren't. Far from the coast. Beneath the surface. In an immense space without cameras, without witnesses, and without human noise. But signs remain. Many living great white sharks bear old scars. Deep, curved, bite-like marks. Some look like the signature of another shark. Each scar is a lost scene. An unfilmed chase, a survived attack, a story written on skin. Great white sharks compete with each other. Large sharks can outcompete smaller ones in feeding areas. Juveniles can be in danger when they encounter enormous adults. In nature, cannibalism is not scandalous. It is a strategy when the opportunity arises. Therefore, Alpha should not be seen merely as an impossible anomaly, but as a window into a behavior that normally remains invisible. Perhaps it wasn't a unique accident. Perhaps it was an extreme example of a broader reality. Simply put, we don't see these attacks because they happen out of sight. But the scars, tracking data, and bites tell a recurring story. Even alpha predators can become prey. She closes this section with a powerful statement. Alpha wasn't eaten by the top of the food chain. She was eaten by the next level up. The ultimate question isn't just what ate Alpha. The bigger question is, if great white sharks capable of doing that exist, why do we almost never see them? The answer is simple, because the ocean is vast and we observe so little of it. We should already have everything cataloged. Maps, satellites, cameras, labels, scientific names. But the open ocean has no walls or schedules. There's no guarantee that a giant creature will swim past us just as a camera is recording. A massive great white shark can travel thousands of miles, live for decades, and roam through areas where there are no divers, tourists, or research vessels. To us, it would be a legend. To the ocean, just another animal following its path. Humans explore the limits of our reach. We tag sharks near the coast, film them where visibility allows, and build models of the animals we manage to find. But the largest, oldest, and rarest specimens may be beyond our reach. This means that part of our understanding of the great white shark might be based on young or easily accessible individuals. It's like trying to understand all wolves by only studying those that venture to the edge of the forest. The case of Alpha shows the value of a small tag. Without it, we would only have a missing shark. With it, we have a window into a secret life. The absence of images does not mean the absence of animals. It means the ocean still has too many places to hide behaviors, sizes, and encounters that we haven't recorded. Don't confuse "I never saw it" with "it doesn't exist." Here, the script can ground the imagination with a visual comparison. There are reliably filmed giant great white sharks, enormous females that make diving cages look small. Don't present them as the culprits in Alpha. Use them only to demonstrate that the necessary size isn't a far-fetched idea. A 6-meter-long female doesn't feel like a fish. She feels like a living part of the ocean. Her presence changes the behavior of everything around her. Seeing such an animal helps to understand the possibility. Alpha didn't have to encounter a mythical monster. He could have crossed paths with an exceptional female. Sea legends thrive because the ocean leaves room for imagination. But this story works best when it stays grounded in reality. We don't need megalodons or impossible creatures. The great white shark itself, at its maximum size, is enough to explain the case. The truth doesn't lessen the mystery, it sharpens it. The Alpha tag was like a message from a place with no witnesses. It told us that a famous predator can also become food, that the ocean's surface has levels, and that even a well-studied species retains behaviors we're only beginning to understand. The animal that devoured Alpha was probably not a figment of our imagination. It was a massive great white shark seizing an opportunity. The unsettling thing isn't that it's impossible, but that it could have happened without anyone seeing it. The ocean doesn't need to invent monsters to scare us. It simply shows us how it works when we're not looking. Now the lockdown needs to breathe. We're no longer chasing suspects. We're looking at what history has taught us. For years, we saw the great white shark as the ultimate symbol of marine fear. We turned it into a magazine cover, a movie, a warning, and a myth. But a label the size of a hand changed the image. The shark that seemed to be on top could also silently disappear. That doesn't make it any less impressive. It makes it more real. Nature doesn't exist to confirm our ideas. It exists according to its own rules. Hunger, opportunity, adaptation, and survival. The answer isn't simply another shark ate it. The deeper answer is that the ocean can still correct us. It can take a familiar word, superpredator, and show us that within it lie hidden layers. And that matters. If giant great white sharks influence smaller ones, if cannibalism is more common than we think, if rare individuals play a larger role in the ecosystem, we need more data to understand and protect them. Alpha was not just a victim, he was a sign. We don't know everything. Accepting this doesn't weaken science. It makes it more honest. Science advances when a small piece of evidence contradicts a major idea. The tag came back because it was designed to come back. The shark didn't because it fell under a rule older than any study. In the ocean, even the hunter can become the hunted. If this story made you look at the great white shark in a new light, subscribe to the channel. Here we explore real ocean mysteries, not to create fear, but to understand why the truth can be even more intense. Like, share the video with someone who thinks the great white shark has no enemies, and comment. What size do you think the largest great white shark we haven't filmed yet is?